My name is Zoe Leonard. I'm 34 years old. The day of my divorce settlement, my stepsister Tiffany walked into the conference room wearing my wedding ring. She sat beside my husband, one hand resting on her pregnant belly, and smiled. "Don't worry, Zoe," she said, sliding a $100 bill across the table. "I'll take better care of Connor than you ever could. At least I can actually give him a child." My father stared at his coffee. My stepmother adjusted her pearls. Connor, the man who held me through 2 miscarriages, wouldn't look at me. My lawyer, Vivian, placed one folder on the table. She didn't open it. She just rested her hand on top and said, "Shall we begin?" They thought I came to lose everything. They had no idea I came to end them. That morning, I woke at 5:48 after 3 hours of sleep. I'd been renting a cottage in West Asheville for 52 days. In the mirror, I put on my mother's pearl earrings. The only piece of her jewelry Patricia hadn't managed to lose, hide, or sell off in an estate sale my father organized without telling me. I had a voicemail from Patricia. "Come tomorrow with a soft heart, honey. Tiffany's been through so much." I deleted it. My coworker Caroline texted that she'd drive over. I told her I had to walk in alone. I drove to Vivian Ashcroft's office on Patton Avenue. Connor was already there, so was my father. Patricia was pouring coffee from a carafe she'd brought from home, like this was Sunday brunch. "Sweetheart, we saved you a seat," Patricia said. I sat next to Vivian instead. Then Tiffany walked in, 20 weeks along by her own timeline, belly high and round under cashmere, the Edwardian sapphire, my engagement ring, catching the light on her hand. But the morning of the settlement wasn't where this started. I met Connor Howerin in 2019 at a brewery launch I hosted at the boutique hotel where I worked. We talked for almost an hour next to a fermentation tank. He asked for my number that night. 2 weeks later, Tiffany, then 22, called asking everything about him. What he did, where he lived, who his family was. I told her about his grandmother Lorraine, the family land, the dogwood orchard, the heirlooms. "He sounds like a keeper," she said. I didn't think anything of it then. I think about it constantly now. Connor and I married in June 2020. His grandmother gave him an Edwardian sapphire ring 3 days before the wedding, worn by women in his family since 1932. Sliding it onto my finger, I felt the weight of 4 generations settle on my hand. At the reception, his sister Bridget hugged me and said something strange. "I'm glad it went to you." Grandma changed her mind once. I always wondered why. I let it pass. We tried for a baby starting in 2021. I lost the first pregnancy that December at 10 weeks. Connor slept in the hospital chair beside me all night. I lost the second in April 2023 at 13 weeks, while he was 3 hours away at a festival. Tiffany was somehow already in the hospital lobby, posting a selfie captioned, "Praying with my sister today. Some women are warriors." 1,800 likes. After a failed IVF cycle in 2024, Connor came home and said, "I just thought you'd cry. I didn't know what to do." That was the first sentence in our marriage I couldn't unhear. That spring, my biological mother had a stroke. While I worked 2 jobs and drove to feed her yogurt 3 times a week, Tiffany started coming to help. She made casseroles. She also stood once in front of my fridge, finger tracing the blue stickers on my IVF calendar. "Just so curious, sis," she said. I thought it was tenderness. It was reconnaissance. On February 7th, 2026, Connor called and said we needed to talk, that someone was with him. He brought Tiffany to the restaurant where he'd proposed to me. She was 3 steps ahead, hand cupped under her belly. 12 weeks, she said. "I have to do right by my unborn child," Connor told me. I paid for my own seltzer and walked out. Through the window, I watched her laughing in his arms. 6 days later, he came for his things and asked, almost casually, if he could take the ring for cleaning. I handed it over and said, "Bring it back when you understand what it means." He didn't hear me. 2 days after that, Tiffany posted a photo of the ring on her hand with the caption, "He chose us." Patricia renamed our family group chat "Baby on the Way" and removed me from it. Then Caroline came by with a question that changed everything. Are you sure she's actually pregnant? I saw her at Whole Foods in a sports bra. Her stomach didn't move when she laughed. That night, I zoomed into the ultrasound Tiffany had posted. In the corner, half hidden behind a peony, was a watermark and date stamp. March 14th, 2019, 7 years earlier. From a sponsored fertility clinic campaign, Tiffany had done as a 22-year-old influencer. She'd reused the image. I called Vivian the next morning. She'd been a divorce litigator for 22 years, and after I explained everything, she asked one question that stopped me cold. Has your stepmother ever asked about your mother's estate? Then she wrote 3 words on a legal pad and turned it toward me. This is choreography. I went home and dug up an old screenshot, a Pinterest board of Tiffany's from 2023 called Faking It for Love. 41 pins, prosthetic pregnancy bellies. Fake ultrasound templates, how to gain weight realistically in the abdomen, tips for faking morning sickness. The board had gone active in August 2019, 4 months before Tiffany first started asking about Connor. Then my phone rang from a Charlotte number. A woman named Joanne Whittaker said she'd known my mother in college and had worked 19 years as a patient navigator at a Charlotte fertility clinic. In March 2022, she'd processed intake paperwork for a patient named Tiffany Madsen, a bilateral tubal ligation. The emergency contact listed was my father. That girl cannot be pregnant, Joanne said. Not naturally, not at all. I drove to Charlotte. Joanne signed a notarized affidavit. Then she handed me a sealed envelope in my mother's handwriting, given to her 3 weeks before my mother died, to hold until I needed it most. Inside was a handwritten will. Legal under North Carolina law, leaving me her pearl earrings, a sapphire brooch, and a cottage my father had told me he'd sold, but had actually hidden in a trust under my mother's maiden name. To be released to me by my 35th birthday. As I left, Joanne added one more thing through the screen door. Your stepmother came to our clinic 6 months before Tiffany. We thought she was helping a friend. 2 days later, Connor's grandmother Lorraine called. In 2013, she said, a woman named Patricia had joined her garden club, brought her a magnolia sapling, visited her home 3 times, and gently asked who she planned to leave the family ring to. Family is bigger than blood, isn't it? Patricia had said. Lorraine changed her plans because of that conversation. She stole my judgment, Lorraine told me. I am calling to ask your forgiveness. Vivian brought in a forensic accountant who traced 8 wire transfers from Patricia to Tiffany over 8 months, $14,000 total. Memo lines reading baby costs, doctor expenses, starting 3 weeks before the affair even began. A digital analyst pulled the Wayback Machine history of the Pinterest board and found a secondary account repinning Tiffany's saves for years, username PML62. Patricia M. Leonard, born 1962. The final piece came at a family lunch in early April. My father took my mother's sapphire brooch from the curio cabinet and pressed it into Tiffany's hand. Eleanor would have wanted it, he said. Tiffany pinned it on and held up her hand wearing my engagement ring. Maybe your fingers were a little too thin, sis, she said. Some women's fingers just aren't built for forever. I said only, you're right. Some fingers aren't. Driving home, I stopped to transfer the casserole Patricia had sent me into a clean dish, and at the bottom of the container found a folded receipt. A silicone prosthetic pregnancy belly, $389.99, shipped to Patricia's address in Black Mountain. I sat in the parking lot and called Vivian. I have her, I said. 5 days later at the settlement, Vivian laid out 6 exhibits one at a time, the matching ultrasounds. The photo timeline showing Tiffany's belly growing and shrinking across 11 weeks, including one flat-stomached gym photo posted and deleted within 2 hours. The Bella Mama receipt. Patricia's voice rose. That's not mine, that's photoshopped. It came from your Tupperware, Vivian said. Connor turned toward Patricia. The baby is, he started. No one answered. Vivian produced the bank trace, $14,000, memo line after memo line of baby costs. Then the clinic record, Tiffany Madsen, tubal ligation, March 2022. My father listed as the emergency contact who'd sat in the waiting room and never asked why. My father made a sound I'd never heard from him. I should have asked, he said. Doug, shut up, Patricia snapped. No, Patricia, he said. I'm done. Then Vivian laid down Lorraine's statement and the Pinterest analysis with Patricia's username on it. Proof this had started in 2013, years before Connor and I even met. You've been planning this since before Zoe and Connor met, Vivian told Patricia. The pregnancy was the delivery mechanism for the ring. Patricia bowed her head and made one small, dry sound, like a house folding in on itself. Tiffany stood to leave. The settlement proceeds with or without you, Vivian said. And everything you said at the start of this meeting has been notarized. I stood, picked up the $100 bill Tiffany had slid toward me at the start, and set it back in front of her. You'll need this more than I will, I said. You said you could actually give Connor a child. You can't. Should I tell them why or will you? She said nothing. I came here to end my marriage, I told her. You came here to end my dignity. Only one of us succeeded. Then I walked out and let the door close on its own. The fallout came fast. A stranger in a local Facebook group found and screen-recorded Tiffany's deleted posts, and the story spread across forums overnight. She lost 9,000 followers before dawn. Connor's business partner invoked the morality clause in their brewery agreement and put him on leave pending a buyout. His sister Bridget texted him, Mom is heartbroken. Grandma is heartbroken. I am done. Lose my number. In one afternoon, Connor lost his sister, his grandmother, and his business. That night, my father packed a bag and left Patricia a note. I should have asked 20 years ago. He mailed me my mother's brooch with a handwritten line. Your mother put my name in 2 wills. I broke the first one in 1986. I am not breaking this one. A week later, I drove out to my mother's cottage on Old Asheville Highway, small, red, with a magnolia tree in the side yard, held in trust for 19 years. I walked through every room. I sat on the floor of what had once been my childhood bedroom and breathed, fully, for the first time in years. My father came to the door once, holding magnolias, and left them on the step without knocking. I texted him, I love what you used to be. I'm not interested in what you became. Please don't come back. He wrote back, okay, Zoe. I deserve that. I mailed the sapphire ring back to Bridget. She wrote, it looks like it always belonged here. Thank you for everything you couldn't say at the table. I don't own a wedding ring anymore. I wear my mother's pearls. I wear her brooch when I want to. For a long time, I believed my family failed me because they didn't love me enough. I understand now they didn't fail at all. They succeeded exactly at what they set out to do. They needed someone to be the cold one, the barren one, the unforgiving one, so the warm and fertile and forgivable people could keep what they wanted. The pregnancy was the climax of that story. The $100 bill was the closing line. The folder didn't change the truth. It only made the truth impossible to ignore. Patricia still lives alone in the house in Black Mountain. My father filed for divorce, and the garden club that gave her status for years quietly removed her. Tiffany moved to Greenville. Her wellness brand is gone, and she's working at a beauty supply store now. Connor lives half a mile from my cottage, in a strange coincidence of geography. He's written to me twice. I haven't answered yet. I don't know if I will. Bridget and I get coffee on Wednesdays. Lorraine sent me a magnolia sapling for the side yard. Joanne writes me long letters, teaching me, 20 years late, who my mother really was, that she liked yellow more than I remembered, that she braided her friend's hair before exams, that she knew exactly who to trust with an envelope, years before I'd need it. I take my mother's pearls out on Sundays now. She used to say a house remembers who lived in it. I believe her. Mine does too.